Hi everyone, so today I've got an interesting one for you. So this is called a 5x7 pull-out trifold card. It's actually not a trifold card, it's a bit more than trifold, but anyway, I couldn't think of another word for it. So, and it's quite difficult to show you flat on the desk. So if you look at the pictures beforehand, that'll give you more of an idea. But basically what happens is you open this up and you've got this pull-out section here that pulls out. And so when you display it, it kind of sits sort of like that. And so you've got this pull out section here. So obviously you could do lots with this. So I've put this frame bit quite far forward. If you wanted to, you could do it towards the back. I can see this being a very good Christmas card because you could have like houses going all the way down the little hill. Yeah, there's lots you could do with this. I decided to keep it white on white because it's a wedding card, and I thought it'd be quite nice if there was like a Christmas wedding, because it's that kind of, you know, sort of Christmassy sort of white. It's got glitter on the glitter. I don't know if you can really see the glitter, but these are all glittery. Yeah, so I just thought it was quite nice. I thought I'd keep it white on white. You got space here to write. If you wanted to, you could flip this over and put it on the other side. It's really up to you. But it folds flat and it fits in an envelope for a 5x7. It is quite chunky. Mine's a bit more chunky because I made a few mistakes, so I end up with more layers than I actually intended to have, but it has made it more solid. But yes, it's really up to you. You can really go for it, but I thought I'd keep it nice and clean and simple. But yeah, so that's the card for today. I used these dies. I can't remember where I got these from. I think they were from Wow, but I can't remember. It was so long ago. This is an actual die from In Love Art Shop. So if you use my code ICEDImages, you'll get yourself 20% off. And then this die here is also In Love Art Shop. So again, use the same code. It's very nice die. So yeah, and then just plain card and acetate. So yeah, so let's get into it. Okay, so for this card you're going to need a few different pieces. Now I'm doing mine all in white because I'm going to do a white on white card, and my original prototype that I did slightly differently. So I'm going to do it the way I think it needs to be done. So this is the prototype. It's not fully decorated and whatever, but it pulls out. So that's how it looks like from the top, and from the front it's a bit floppy as well because I haven't used the white card. It's kind of like that. Now obviously I need to put acetate in here. It's literally just a prototype. But can you see this piece here, this strip? I actually originally had full-size pieces of card, but I think because I'm going to do this kind of slope, I'm actually going to not use full-size pieces of card. So I'm going to give you the instructions for that, and then hopefully that will work out. So to start with, you just need a 5x7 card blank. So that's this. So a piece that is 7x10. And along the 10-inch edge, you're going to score halfway at 5 inches and just score all the way down. And that just makes your card blank. So that can go away because we're going to use that in a minute. Then you're going to need whatever you're going to put in the middle. So I've got my little couple. This die also was from In Love Art Shop. How beautiful is that? And again, if you use my code ICEDImages, all in one word, you'll get 20% off your order. So that we're going to use that as well. You'll need one sheet of just 5x7 card. This is a piece of 5x7, and this is what we're going to cut our aperture out of. So I have a rectangular die that I got from a charity shop, so I'm going to use that to cut my aperture out. So we will do that in a moment as well. But first of all, if we move on to these pieces here. So you need one piece that is, now it really depends on how much of a slope you want to do. So I've gone for 3 inches, and then the width needs to be 11. Okay. And what we're going to do on this one, you'll also need another piece, and on this one I have done it as 1.5 by 10. Okay, so on the 3 by 11 you're going to score halfway at 5.5, and then you're just going to score 1/2 inch on either end, so at 1/2 inch and at 10.5 inches. Okay, so that's what you're going to end up with that. If you take your 1.5 by 10, you're just going to score halfway at 5 inches, and that is all of your scoring done. Okay, so you should end up with that. So what we want to do is, this one here is going to be a mountain. So I'm just going to fold that now. Then we've got a valley. And then this one here is going to be a mountain. And then this one here is going to be a valley. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to draw, basically we're going to go from here down, and this bit here needs to be 1.5. So I'm just going to measure up from the bottom and mark at 1.5. You can do whatever measurement you want, it really doesn't matter. If you want to, you can just do a nice straight line, or you can kind of do an ambling, like an ambling kind of, you know, an ambling kind of, whatever the word is. Okay, so I've just drawn some little lines on. So what I'm going to do with that tab folded over, I'm just going to start at the bottom here and kind of just do like an ambling kind of landscape. So just got an ambling kind of landscape, and then this one is going to go on here, and again from here downwards, well, kind of, I mean, it's really up to you. There's no hard and fast rule with this one. So on my original one, we just open this up here. Yeah, so I kept it because obviously this was all one piece. So I would probably keep that bit, because you're gonna need to make sure that where you cut your aperture you can't see it. So maybe actually, and then this was kind of, I just did this by hand. So I think what we'll do is we cut our aperture out of our 5x7 first, and then we can work out where everything else needs to go. So we've done that one, that's fine, that can go to one side. This one can just wait a second, and then if we bring back in our 5x7 and also the dies I'm going to use, so I'm using this set here, which is a lacy nested rectangle A2 8-piece die set from Christina Griffiths, and I'm just going to use the outside one. I really wanted to use some of these nice ones here, but it was going to end up being a bit too small. So we're going to run that through my die cutting machine. Okay, so I've ended up with that. So now I'm just going to measure this bottom section here. So it is actually 1 1/8. So what I'm going to do is on this one here, what we're going to have is this piece here is actually going to go behind there. So that's going to stick on there. So at the moment now we can see this piece, but I don't want to be able to see that. So I'm going to actually cut this down and then go from there sort of wibbly wobbly down. So I think we're going to measure an inch. I'm going to measure inch from the bottom because it's like 1 1/8. And then I think we will finish at 3/4 over here. So it is really going to be not that much smaller, but a little bit. You could go half. I just don't want to go too, actually let's go half. I don't want to go too small, but I also don't want it too big. So I think we'll go half. And for this one, I think I am just going to draw a straight line from there to there. You can go undulating if you want to, but I'm just going to go with a nice straight line like that, and then it's nice and easy. So I'm just going to go ahead now and cut this out. Okay, so you end up with that. So the bit that we cut off you could actually use for another card if you want to. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm just going to stick this onto here like that. Okay, so I just realised that I probably should have stuck my acetate on first before sticking this down. But anyway, never mind. So what we're going to do now is, and I've also realised I've stuck the wrong side. So I've actually stuck the wrong side of this frame, not the right side of the frame. Right, so I'm going to go ahead now and just put a line of red tape around my frame. Just going to go for the really thin one, just to make sure I don't end up with any stickiness where I don't want it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then we're just going to stick the acetate over the top. And the acetate, I've just cut it so that it is a tiny bit smaller than the actual frame. So the frame is 5x7, the card is 5x7. So I've cut it down so that it's like 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. So I'm going to go ahead now and just stick the acetate on the back here. So I went ahead and I cut another frame out because I suddenly realised I stuck the acetate on the wrong side. It's one of those days today. So now what I'm going to do is add some tape around here and just stick that over the top there. So I've just noticed as well, my frame is slightly off, but it's fine. With the way things are going at the moment, it's not really a problem. So we'll just have to cope with it like that. So now we're going to go ahead and put this on. So that definitely needs to go at the front. That's what my greeting is going to go on. You also need to make sure when you stick it down that you do stick it well enough in that this will still close. So that does. That's good. So this is now going to go on the front here. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. And I've actually used white glitter adhesive sheets from DRK Crafts. And I've just die cut the whole thing out. So then all I need to do is just peel off the backing and stick it down. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and stick that onto there. I'm just going to trim that down a little bit just so it doesn't interfere. And again, if you wanted to, if you were organised, you could have stuck that on before you started doing all your layers. However, the way things are going today, I forgot, funnily enough. So I'm just going to go ahead now and I'm going to add some red tape onto the outside of this tab. And then we're going to go ahead and stick this onto the back of this piece here. You just want to make sure that it is nice and straight. So I'm going to just fold this up, turn that back like that, take this piece and stick it down and just make sure that it's nice and lined up along the bottom so that you know that it is straight. So there we go. So that's that part there. So then we just need to bring in our card blank. And on this one, I wanted to stick this die cut panel in the back there. So before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and stick this tab onto here. So we're just going to put some red tape onto this bit. If you want, you can put it on the back, but I don't want to put it on the back because that's kind of the front of the card. So let me just turn this over, put some red tape on here. And then I'm going to take my card, I'm just going to fold it all up like this, because what you want to do is when you stick this sticky tab down, you want to make sure that this is clear of that halfway mark. So you might end up with a little bit of stickiness of your tab on the outside there. If you do, just put a bit of an anti-static pad on it, but that needs to be able to shut like that. So then when you open it, you can then pull that out. Okay. So then on this panel here, I wanted to put this panel here on top. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick that down. Let me just make sure it's kind of in the right place. Just needs to shimmy over a little bit, but at the top it's about right. So I'm going to go ahead now and stick this down. And on the back of this, because it's quite fine, you could have put a adhesive sheet, but I've just put some really skinny tape all over the back. You could use wet glue as well. But I've just gone for the really, really skinny tape. And I'm just going to take it all off because I feel if I try and do it in sections, we could end up with problems. Okay, so I've stuck that down. So then when this folds down, you have that lovely panel at the back. And then you've got this bit here. You don't have to have this bit if you don't want to, but I was going to put a congratulations on there. So, and then you've got space here to write, and then obviously it opens up. And if you wanted to, you could put some things on the hills behind, but I quite like them being, you know, on their own. If you could do like a Christmas scene, then I reckon you probably would want to put something on there. So I'm going to go ahead now and just add my greeting onto there. Okay, so I've cut out a little celebrate, and what I'm going to do is just turn it over, put it on the back here, and I'm just going to add a bit of glue in the right places and stick it down. Okay, so there's your finished card. So obviously that shuts like that. If you wanted to put somewhere on the front, you could. And then they obviously open it up. And then they have this card that stands up sort of like that. We'll see it better in the photo. It's difficult to show you on here. But obviously from the top view, it kind of stands up like that. And you've got a kind of a 3D scene. So it's just sort of an interesting kind of card. If you wanted to, you could have it coming out from this side. I decided to go for this side, on the left, just because when he stands up, this kind of makes quite an, it kind of sits itself in the middle. Like I haven't put it sort of central, but it kind of sits itself, just what I mean, like in the middle like that. And I quite like that. And I didn't know from the left, I suppose from the other side it would do that as well, but I quite like the idea of it just being on that side. So yeah, so that is the card for today. So I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget to go over to In Love Art Shop, have a look at their dies. Don't forget to use my code ICEDImages, all in one word, to get yourself 20% off. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, comment, hit the like button, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!